Have you ever wanted to make your Android app interactive, but felt stuck on how to set up a click listener? You're not alone. Today, we're diving into how to achieve setOnClickListener in Kotlin for Android development. I totally get it. Setting up click listeners can be confusing, especially if you're new to Kotlin or Android development. But don't worry, you're in the right place to learn this essential skill. Here's the specific question we're addressing today. One user asked, how do I set a basic on-click listener in Kotlin for Android development? If you've been wondering the same thing, stick around as we break it down step by step. So, what exactly is an on-click listener? It's a way to make your app respond to user interactions like button clicks. Understanding this concept is crucial for creating engaging Android applications. And don't go anywhere. At the end of this video, I have a bonus tip that will help you enhance your app's interactivity even further. To set an on-click listener in Kotlin for Android development, the user should first ensure they have a button in their layout file. This is typically done in the XML layout. Next, the user should access the button in their Kotlin code. This is done in the activity or fragment where the button is used. The user can find the button by its ID. Now, the user can set the on-click listener for the button. This is where the user defines what happens when the button is clicked. Finally, the user should test the application to ensure the button click works as expected. They can run the app on an emulator or a physical device. Fun fact, did you know that the first Android app was released in 2008? Just like that app, your app can also respond to user clicks with just a few lines of code. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative approach to setting an on-click listener in Kotlin is quite simple. You can directly use the setOnClickListener method on your view. Here's how it works. That wraps up that answer. Let's move on to another one. An alternative approach shared by a user involves setting an on-click listener for a text view in Kotlin. First, they retrieve the text view using findViewById. Then, they set the on-click listener with a Lambda function that starts a new activity. Let's take a moment to review another user's answer. An alternative approach to setting an on-click listener in Kotlin involves using a Lambda expression. First, register the click listener in the onCreate method. Then, implement the click listener separately. You can also name the view in the Lambda if you need to check its ID. For example, you can check if the clicked view is the login button. Now, let's dive into a different answer from another user. This user provides an alternative approach to setting an on-click listener in Kotlin. They suggest first finding the button by its ID, then using the setOnClickListener method. Inside the listener, they create an intent to start a new activity and pass an extra value. Let's take a look at an answer from another user. This user suggests using Kotlin extensions to directly access the button by its ID. They demonstrate this by setting an on-click listener for the button, which checks for network availability and validates input before calling the login API. Here's the bonus tip I promised. Consider using Lambda expressions for your on-click listener. They make your code cleaner and easier to read. Trust me, your future self will thank you. And there you have it. You've learned how to set an on-click listener in Kotlin for Android development. Remember, practice makes perfect. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button for more tips and keep coding.